Let's talk Scottie Barnes. 6'8", power forward, point guard, backup point guard. Like, what is he? I don't know what he is. 225, 19 years old. Just a really unusually fun prospect. I'm here with Sam Vecenie. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. Sam, let's talk Scottie. What sticks out about Scottie Barnes to you?
Yeah, you're struggling to say what Scottie Barnes is. What Scottie Barnes is just awesome.
Yeah.
And the thing that stands out to me above all with Scottie Barnes is just the mentality. He is a hyper-competitive player that also just seems like the best teammate in the world. Anyone you talk to around the Florida State program, around university school, around Montverde Academy, like anywhere he's been, right? People will just go on glowingly about how much they love Scottie Barnes' attitude and the energy that he brings to any room that he's in. And those are the guys that help teams at the end of the day. Those are the guys that every team is looking to add to their roster. Now, it helps. You don't always take those guys at number 5, number 6, number 7, wherever Scottie Barnes is going to end up on draft night.
Yeah.
It helps that Scottie Barnes is also 6'9" with a 7'3" wingspan and can genuinely guard 1 through 5. That's always a good thing to be able to add to your prospect toolbox, I guess. Defensively, I think is where Scottie stands out. Just can do a lot of different things. I'm a little bit more skeptical of the offense than where I've seen some people come in, maybe. Certainly has a high ceiling on that end, but I'm sure we'll talk about just kind of the intricacies of what Scottie can and can't do. But I will say, I've been high on Scottie Barnes the whole year. He's sat, I think, at number 6 on my board the entire season. I think that's where he's going to finish at the end of the day.
Yeah. He's somebody who has an unusual offensive game. It's not what you would expect in a guy that could go as high as 4 or 5 in this draft. He's just he's a distributor. He's a guy that can drive the lane, but I just don't really know what he is as an offensive player at the NBA level. Can you kind of parse that out for me?
I think he's more of a big and more of like a connective tissue big than a lead guard. I think that you'll see him do some of the stuff that Draymond Green does in transition, where he grabs on the glass, leads the break, and is able to make plays with his passing ability and vision at that level. Having said that, I don't really know what you do with him in the half court right now, because he's not really good enough as a lead creator at this point to just put the ball in his hands and say go, right? Mm-hmm. He's not really a good enough passer. He's a good passer in the half court. He's not a great passer to where you're just like, I trust this guy to run ball screens and get us efficient offense, possession after possession. And on top of it, he can't shoot. And to me, that's the number one concern. Because if there's one thing that we've seen in the NBA over the last few years, especially given the way that teams defend actions and given the way that offensive teams attack the way defenses play, the goal is to get opposing players on an island and to try and take advantage of mismatches, right? Or whenever a team is playing drop coverage, hit cross-court kickouts, hit same-side kickouts, collapse the defense, and then find the open three, right? So the big thing that teams need to be able to do in that circumstance, and that offensive players need to be able to do, is there needs to at least be the threat that somebody can score, right?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Be it someone like, Duncan Robinson moving off of actions and shooting and scoring from the perimeter. Be it Jordan Clarkson breaking down defenders and being, a terrific sixth man that can get where he wants on the court. Be it someone like LeBron James, right? You got to be able to score and create your own shot for defenders to respect you. With Scottie, I kind of discussed a minute ago why I don't think you can play him on the ball right now, yet at least. Maybe he can get there at some point. Off the ball, because he's not really a shooter, you're going to have that extra guy in the lane every single time. Because I just don't see a world where, and this is if Scottie is in a corner spacing, Scottie's just not going to get that respect from opposing defenders right now. So where I see him operating best, and this is something he didn't do a lot of at Florida State, but his skill set matches it to a T, in my opinion. I think you're going to see him kind of run a lot of those short roll actions that guys like Draymond Green are excellent at. You're going to see him be the screener in a lot of these actions, short roll into that like 15-foot area, be the release valve for a really high-level guard. Think like every time Damian Lillard gets blitzed, right? When he's on the ball with two men, he's looking for a release valve. He's looking for Yusuf Nurkic, who can then make a passing play. I think that that's more where Scottie is going to succeed early on, is being that short roll passer kick out guy, as opposed to being, some on-ball point guard or some, floor spacer or anything like that. He's almost going to have to be a big early on offensively.
Yeah. And he's got experience playing for maybe the best high school team ever too, which I think kind of helps and is like kind of a cool part of his story. And so it's not hard to imagine him being a part of a great team. And there's places where he could go even in this draft. We talk about Toronto constantly, but you talk about Toronto even with this player, like he'd fit in great. I think he'd fit in with the spirit of the team. I think he'd be, like you said, a connective tissue player on offense, and then defense, like just slide right in. Like he's almost like too perfect for them on that end.
Yeah, it's funny for people who don't know the high school that Scottie Barnes went to. So he, in his junior year, played for University School next to Vernon Carey. They were one of the best teams in the country. And then he transferred for his senior year to Montverde Academy, where he played with Cade Cunningham, Moses Moody, and Day'Ron Sharpe, among others, like Caleb Houston and other guys like that. To say that he's had experience fitting into a high-level role before would be an understatement. He's probably done it more than any one and done in recent memory, and that even includes this year at Florida State. Florida State was an experienced team, an older team. People thought that he was going to come in and play point guard and kind of run the show. He played some point. He brought the ball up the court pretty regularly, but he was another guy on Florida State's team. Florida State spreads the ball around as much as any school in the country, and he was comfortable with that. He's a guy that is absolutely going to be able to step in immediately and be comfortable being a role player in the NBA. And that's a really important thing. You want guys that can come in, play minutes early, and then build and grow on their overall skill set throughout their career. It's going to take Scottie a couple of years before he can be a shooter, if it ever happens. But it's going to be nice that he can get on the court because he's so good defensively and can switch 1 through 5 and has such great length and has such great versatility to be able to get on the court. Coaches are going to love that about him, and coaches are going to love being around him, I think.
Yeah. Let's talk range. If you just look at mock drafts across the internet, he's kind of all over the place. I think most people kind of settle in with him in like the top 6 or 7, but I've seen him much lower than that. And you even see places where he's even higher than that. But what is your draft night range for Scottie Barnes?
Yeah, look, I think Toronto will consider him at number 4, at least. Just fits a lot of what they look for at the end of the day. I mean, God, Orlando, they have both 5 and 8.
Yeah. Orlando
loves these dudes that have all sorts of length and attributes and are elite level character kids. Jonathan Isaac, Aaron Gordon, Chuma Okeke, Mo Bamba has all sorts of length. You can go back like Melvin Frazier and Justin Jackson in the second round, right? Like Orlando's type in terms of the guys that they love to draft are guys that are very toolsy, athletic, long, and have a lot of really high-level physical traits. So I look at them. I would be stunned if he got past their second pick at the very least. Maybe they go a different direction the first time. So I would say 4 through 8 makes a lot of sense to me in terms of the range. The place I want him to go is your dear sweet Oklahoma City Thunder, though.
What's the fit like with OKC in your mind?
I can't imagine a more perfect front court than watching Aleksej Pokusevski and Scottie Barnes. Just for what I like. Just for what I want to watch. I don't even know that front court would be good. I just want to see it at the end of the day. Having said that, they have really complementary skills. Aleksej Pokusevski is not really like a pick and roll big. He is a guy that wants to play on the wing. He wants to run pick and rolls himself. He wants to be like the guy that you swing the ball to on the wing, heavy closeout. He drives, makes a high level pass to someone like Scottie Barnes in the dunker spot, maybe. So you could play Scottie Barnes and Pokusevski, have the size that NBA teams are looking for because Poku is 7 foot tall, Scottie Barnes is 6'9". And you could also have the guy that operates as like that short roll screener or just, a lob threat at the end of the day because Scottie Barnes is so big and long. So that's what I want. And obviously, Aleksej Pokusevski is an awesome team defender in terms of the way that he processes the game. You can't defend anyone on the ball yet because he has a high center of gravity and is not strong enough. But knows where to be defensively. Scottie Barnes, I think, with his switchable on-ball defense, would be a really nice complement to Pokusevski. Have I sold you yet on why I love this?
You just mentioned Poku's name more than 3 times. I'm already in. Like, that's all you have to do.
You zoned out. Every time I said Poku, you were like, ooh, yeah, Poku.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. You don't even mention SGA at all. Like this elite guy that led the league in drives per game as he's out there. But who cares? It's Poku. It's Poku time.
Yeah, hot take. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, very good at basketball, probably an all-star as soon as next year. Right. But at the end of the day, I like it more with the front court fit as much as anything. But Scottie Barnes would be a great fit with Shai as well. I think that you pair him and Lou Dort, whatever Lou Dort is. I think he looks, like a, let's say, 5th starter, 6th man kind of guy whenever he's, up to his ceiling as a player. That would be a really high-level, intense defensive combination. So there's just a lot there that I would really love to see Scottie Barnes end up in Oklahoma City.